determined effort to work his way up to the 35-yard line. Alabama quickly back to the line.
I like this idea by the offense going hurry up here. You just had to...
Turning it on! They finally get him stopped, and this veteran junior running back comes up with a nice play. It'll be a first down from the 49-yard line. You can go way back in the history books to the wishbone attack all the way back to the first Rose Bowl team. Alabama builds its identity on a strong running game.
Builds it on dudes that tote the rock and do it with nastiness, with some physicality. Not one guy's going to bring them down, and you see it year after year with these guys, and there's always somebody that's going to be a physical challenge to try to get on the ground.
Pulls it in. It's Matthews. Guided out of bounds. They'll mark him down at the 14. Going to work in the red zone. They can't pick up the first down without getting it into the end zone. From the gun, they'll try to impose their will. He's dragged down at the 12 as they try to cash in on this red zone opportunity. Alabama comes to the line with 1st and 10. To the air on first down. And the physical play there forces the incompletion on first down. It'll be 2nd down, and remember, they can pick up a first without scoring. Out of the gun, the inside give. They get him stopped, but those feet kept moving until he was down to the 5. Tight quarters deep in the red zone, but they can pick up a first down without scoring. 3rd down. Quickly complete. He's going to come up a couple of yards short of the first down. They're going to go for it on 4th down, and remember, from this spot, they can get a first down without scoring a touchdown. It's incomplete, and the defense comes up with a stop. The Gators backed up deep in their own end, trying to create a little space on first down. From the gun, they'll try to impose their running game.
That's a really nice play. It's impressive. When it's first down, the defense thinks you might be running the football. You still can line up. You can get some movement at the point of attack and find a little crease for your running back.
They'll send the tight end in motion. Looking for a physical attack from the gun. He's going to lose a yard on that one. Now facing a 3rd and long. From the gun, wants to pass. Intercepted, a turnover in their own territory. He goes down after the short return, but what a play to get the football back.
What a game-changing play by this defense. Nice job. You got them backed up in their own territory coming out. Now you force the turnover, set your offense up with some great scoring field position.
The Tide offense rolls onto the field. That last drive was promising at times, but stalled out, and they turned it over on downs, Jesse.
I think they got to do a better job here, just being better early in the downs. On first down, finding positive plays.
Yeah, and it's frustrating when you move the football and get stopped on the other side of the field and get no points. But they've had some success, and I like the aggressiveness. They just got to cash some of these drives in.
So close to that end zone. He could almost taste it, but it'll be 1st and goal for this offense. They'll go to the air. Touchdown, Alabama! Fired in from the red zone for the score. Getting set for the extra point after putting the scoreboard to work for the first time. And with the extra point, they get the first 7 of the game. So Alabama takes the lead into the quarter break. Guys, let's have a look at the stats as we've played 1 period.
And it's so underrated. The relationship between a QB and a wide receiver, the timing, the ability to know where he's going to be and be accurate with the football, that's what leads to nice touchdowns, Jesse.
Well, and the chemistry between these two guys has to be great when you're throwing into the end zone because coverage is going to be tight. The throw might not be perfect, but this is something these two guys have been repping in practice over and over and over, and it's paying dividends now on game day.
On the move from inside his 5. Nice job by the kickoff team. Everybody stayed in their lanes, and they'll stop him at the 16. Florida has the ball back, and here comes the offense. They're trying to put something, anything together to get that goose egg. Oh, he's got some space. That's a nice pickup to give them some breathing room, and they've got it out to the 27. He'll do it himself. Runs through the tackle.
These read option plays are very hard to stop because you got to have enough guys in the box to play that immediate run, but also always be ready for that quarterback to take the ball and scoot out wide.
And when the quarterback operates this like a magician, it makes it even tougher.
When he can see it, read it, and just flat go, those easy plays right there. I mean, he just picks up a little bit of yardage, but he can do it again and again and again, and it's just frustrating.
Oh, he's going to try to hit him deep. Catch inside the 30 and still running. And they'll do more than move the chains. They'll move that thing more than 30 yards down the field before he's finally stopped. Wide receiver going in motion. Off play action on first down. Working that left side now. He hauled that one in and got it down to the 15-yard line. The Gators with myriad options after that big pickup on first down. They'll move the tight end. The give to the back. Stopped at the 13-yard line as the drive continues. And the Gators come to the line on 3rd and short, trying to keep the drive alive. They're going to try to throw for it on 3rd down. They'll have to settle for a field goal attempt. The holder will kneel down at the 29, making it a 39-yard attempt. It's good. He could have hit a string right in the middle of the uprights there. That'll bring him to within 4. Let's go to the studio now and check in with Kevin Connors. Kevin, what do you got?
The Big 12 has become must-see TV, and fellas, today's clash is no different. Notre Dame is currently trailing, but this has been a back-and-forth affair. If that quarterback can find a little magic a la Joe Montana, this might not be over yet. It's just a field goal game. They're trailing by 3 to UCF. We'll circle back if anything big happens in this Big 12 clash of the Titans, guys.
Oh, and how about that? I know Kevin and those guys will be keeping an eye on it for us. Alabama pushing the tempo. Alabama may always be built on the run, but these days they elevate with a high-flying pass game.
And great coaches evolve, and we've seen the evolution of this Alabama offense over the last several years, and it's not just run, it's not just eat clock, it is be aggressive, attack, make big plays down the field.
Lost the fire on 2nd down, and the pass is incomplete, jarred loose by the hit. The noise is deafening, trying to make sure only the Gators get out of the swamp on 3rd down. Working on the right. And perhaps a touchdown-saving tackle as they get him down at the 37.
And listen, the defense knew coming into this one, they were going to target him early and often. He is a weapon, and there's no mystery where the quarterback's going to be looking on critical down and distances. Let's see how they're able to cover him throughout the rest of this game.
Alabama with a 1st and 10 here. Looking to throw on 1st down. Grabbed behind the line, it's Davis. Just shedding tackles. Stopped and forced out of bounds at the 21-yard line, just outside the red zone, and they are looking to get one in here. Off the play fake on 1st down, wants to throw. Finds his big tight end. The ball is down at the 14 after that grab. Going to work on 2nd down in the red zone, and still some ground to cover to pick up that 1st down. He's got it on the run. Gets out of bounds after the big game, but they've got it 1st and goal. Just moments ago, Alabama was feeling the shadow of its own goalpost in that. To the end zone, and it's picked off. Picked up a few extra on that return, but what a play by this defense to get the football.
It's all about making plays, and this guy's been waiting to make his mark on this team. He gets his 1st interception of the season, and what a momentum-changing play for his team.
Plenty of time to work, not any time to waste as they take over here in the final 2 minutes of the half. Got the quick completion. Across the 30, out of bounds at the 31-yard line, and they kick-started this drive with that one. From the gun, leaves it on the inside with the back. Didn't get much done on that run. He'll fight his way out and maybe pick up a yard. Wants to throw. He's working against the clock. Got his man on the right. He's going to be out of bounds, but not before he gets it to midfield. They have been stagnant on offense, but finally a little forward movement as they've got a 1st and 10. Pucks it out of the air. That's about as close as you can get to that marker, and it will be 2nd and just a few breaths away from the 1st down. The Gators come to the line. This situation, you might see a shot play. They'll go to work in the air on 2nd down. Makes the grab.
One of the things you love about this running back is not only can he run between the tackles, but he's also a weapon in this offense catching the football.
Wants to throw on 1st down. Got his man. Stopped after a good pickup, and he'll be just a tad short of the 1st down. Give to the back. They knock him down, but he's got enough to get it across the line and pick up the 1st down. They'll use a timeout right before halftime. Maybe time for 1 or 2 more plays. He splits the uprights and puts 3 on the board. That brings them to within 1.
And that's not the way they wanted to end the drive, but nice job being ready and your field goal kicker coming through and putting 3 points on the board.
That late in the half field goal always gives you a little boost going to the locker room, and they'll need to finish off these final few seconds and not allow them to answer. On the run from inside his own 5. Didn't find any crease in that kickoff coverage, and he'll be stopped at the 17. Content with what they have, the quarterback takes a knee. That's the end of the 2nd quarter. That means it's time to join Kevin in our halftime update.
All right, guys, you've been calling a magnificent game there in Gainesville so far. And yes, football is a game of inches, but man, is that really the case when you consider the length of some of these possessions. Look, I'm not an analytics guy, but I do know this. The team that sustains drives and just moves the sticks might be the team that comes out on top today. With that said, let's send it back to our guys and all those chomping hands there in the swamp.
Ready to start the 2nd half. Alabama will kick it off. And he'll just take a knee, and this drive will start at the 25. The Gators sending the offense back to work. After the lack of production in the 1st half, plenty to talk about. Let's see what they can dial up here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, I think you stay calm. I think you make adjustments, Jesse. I think you realize what they're doing to us and how can I attack that. But you also tell the guys, low-scoring game, still very much in this. We can still be who we are.
It's a good point. I think on offense, this is not the time to reinvent the wheel. I think you stay true to who you are and what your identity is. And you've got to show confidence in your guys to go out and just execute better here in the 2nd half.
Through behind his pad. They get him stopped and out of bounds at the 45-yard line, and the big play has this offense ready to mount a threat. Wants to go up top on 1st down. Got his man quickly. And that defense is there to guide him out of bounds after a short gain. Gives it on the option. Spins away from the defender. They stop him at the 42, but they get it across midfield. Pick up 10 and the 1st down. From the gun, running back gets to give. Really good job by everybody there. Well blocked, good run, and a 1st down. The Gators come to the line with a fresh set of downs. The give from the gun. And he runs through 1 tackle and picks up a few. Good spot after that 7-yard pickup on 1st down. It's 2nd and 3. They'll run it out of the shotgun. And it is a good idea to gang tackle. First guy couldn't get him. Second guy finally did. Red pass, it's complete. The stop is made, but this offense is threatening. First and goal from the 9. And the Gators pounded the rock to move the sticks. Now back to work. Off the play fake on first down. It falls incomplete. He was trying to find his man for 6. Defense rolls up deep in its own end on that last play. Now a second and long coming. Back to pass. Looking to get it in. They'll mark him down at the 2. The excellent execution on that throw and catch. Motion from the wideout. The 6. You want to keep your offense on the field, wear down the defense, put that tape on and show it in a clinic. That's the way it's done.
And as a defense, man, there's nothing more demoralizing. You can handle it when you give up 3, but to give up the touchdown at the end of a long drive, you're already exhausted. You've already been bumped the whole way down the field. Man, that's frustrating.
Why not double the try total and go for 2? Trying to punch it in. Dives into the end zone for the 2-point conversion. They put it in the end zone with a 12-play scoring drive. And it was finished off with a 2-yard touchdown toss. Here he comes from inside his own 5. Nice job executing all of the assignments as they put a stop to that return at the 22. First play of the drive comes from the 22. On the ground, it's Matthews. Jukes his way for more. Really nice job to squirt his way up to the 31-yard line. The Crimson Tide can dig into that playbook here on second and short. He'll try it again. There he goes. That's the kind of play that can really get you going as they have a first down at the 43.
And how about that? Right after they get the explosive play running the ball, they're going right back to the line of scrimmage for some tempo.
This junior making his presence felt and making the stop after a short gain. Picked up 2 yards on that last one. They need 8 on second down. Hands it off. And he'll find enough running room to get it just short of midfield at the 49. This crowd on hinge, trying to make sure the Gators don't back down on third down. From the gun, wants to pass. Crimson Tide will bring the punt team on the field. This will be the second time they've had to kick it away. Makes the tackle, really strong, disciplined job, and now we have 1 period to play. We've reached the break. It's Florida with the lead. And as we switch ends of the field, let's take a quick look at the national rankings. Here comes the 4th. Time to see who steps up, who makes the winning plays to take home that W. They'll go back to work with a first down in the final period. A quick pass to the left. They stop him almost immediately. Short gain there, and still a little ground to cover to pick up the first. Rides to back and leaves it. Turning it on! Couldn't ask for much more there. A first down, and they're down to the 42. The Gators in the hurry-up.
And I think that's what you want to see from this offense down the stretch. Like, can you physically dominate the game? You've got the lead. Now run the football, eat clock, continue to feed your D.
Great completion to the right. running like he wants that football as he gets to the 37. The Gators can play this second down a lot of ways with just a few yards to go. The give to the back. Tackle is made at the 27. Let's give him 10 yards on the play, and it is enough for a first down. Pulls it and fires to the left. And they pick up just a few on that completion. Here comes the offense on second down. They'll run it, trying to drain time off the clock. Defense falls on the ball. Going to be a turnover.
And that was the biggest play of the game. They've got the lead offensively. They're trying to run this thing out. He coughs it up. The defense jumps on it, and all of a sudden, this game has a different feel.
Guys, here comes that Alabama offense onto the field. Another opportunity here. They had to punt it on their last possession, but this time tight game, hoping to get something on the board. Just gets it to the 28, pickup of 1.
And nice job being gap sound by this defense. And here you go. Watch what this offense does. They'll get right back on the ball, and they'll go really quick, so you got to be prepared.
Makes the tackle at the 30 after he picked up 10.
A nice passing game by this offense. The quarterback and the receiver on the same page, in time, in rhythm, creates the big play. And look at them. They're right back on the football, ready to run another play.
The Crimson Tide just hoping at least to get some of the yardage back here on second down. An unforced error there. They don't get the snap off in time. That is a completely avoidable penalty. The quarterback just went into brain lock and lost track of the play clock. Second down, he'll throw it. Finds his man. It's Alvarez. Coaches talk about running with violence, running with bad intentions. That's what that looks like as he gets it up to the 32. Under fire. Oh, they really could have used that catch there. Physical pass defense. It brings up a fourth down. He'll try to throw and pick up the first down. Oh, it's picked off. Oh, at the worst possible time. He stopped, not much on the return, but a whole lot in getting the football.
And that is a back-breaker. It's fourth down, though. Listen, you got to throw the football. You got to try to make a play. But the defense came up big in a big moment.
Florida has the ball back, and here comes the offense. This time, they need to take care of the ball and maybe extend this lead, David.
And I think you got to look at the positive reason. You still got the lead. Now take care of the football. Put a nice drive together, Jesse. You don't have to stress. They're still winning.
I feel like they think that player for player, they're the better unit on the field right now. They just got to make more plays.
Timeout called there by the defense, desperate to get the ball back and save as much time as possible. To the ground with the back. He was looking for some place to put his foot in the ground, but the defense was everywhere, and he's knocked down behind the line. It'll be third and long. From the gun, wants to pass. A shot toward the end zone. And it's caught! Touchdown, Florida! That one puts them in really good shape to get back on the right track and get another W.
You know, good teams just know how to close games out. And you're seeing that right now with this team, right? Their defense just had a massive takeaway. The offense able to capitalize on that with a touchdown, so they padded their lead. And this just speaks to, I think, the experience in the locker room and also the playmakers they have. This game is starting to feel like a blowout.
And the extra point is true, and they have a 2-touchdown lead, up 14 in the fourth. We check in with Kevin Connors. What's going on, Kevin?
Guys, every game in the Big Ten so very critical. How about this one today? UCLA is down right now inside the Rose Bowl, but this young man under center has shown some moxie. We could see a legend born in Pasadena today. It's a touchdown game. They're trailing by 7 to Penn State. We'll let you know if anything else comes out of Big Ten country from this one. Back to you.
And how about that one? Kevin will be keeping an eye on everything going on elsewhere. Off the bootleg, wants to throw it. Got out of trouble and throws. Finds his big tight end. And they reacted well to the completion, but it was too late to keep him from getting the first down. Off the bootleg and rolling out. Right down the middle. Fires it beautifully in on the crosser. And he's brought down after a nice gain. Pulls it on the bootleg fake. Fires to the big fella. That's a really good tackle there, giving up some size and still making the play. The play action fake. Catch in the middle, it's Alvarez. He's all the way down to the 27-yard line, and they are threatening. Now they've got to hustle to the line and get set. Off the play fake on first down to throw. Caught over the middle. It's Alvarez. Makes the grab, but not quite enough for the first down, but a good gain on that play. And they spike it and get the clock stopped. The noise is deafening, trying to make sure only the Gators get out of the swamp on third down. He's got it on the move. They get him stopped at the 5-yard line, but it will be first and goal from there. Double time, hustling to the line to stop the clock. Can the defense stop them again on second and goal? Keeps it on the bootleg, looking to throw. Grabbed in the end zone for a touchdown, and there's still a hill to climb, but they are still fighting, staggering, stumbling, but still upright and not finished yet.
And listen, still a ways to go, but great job by this offense getting you back in the ball game. Now, we got a one-possession game. We've got our score. We did what we're supposed to do. Now, how do we get this stopped? Now, the defense has to come up big and get me the rock back.
And with the extra point, they're down a touchdown, 21-14. They march 79 yards on the drive, and the score comes on a 5-yard touchdown pass.
And this is why you put your hands team on the field most of the time, when you know it's coming, and you put those guys that are great catchers of the football. The first guys, what do? They go block. They go blow somebody up. The next guys catch the football, secure it, get your butt on the ground. And most of the time when you do this, the ball game is over.
They get the W, and with that being win number 6, looks as if they're going bowling, guys.
And that's a good moment for this squad, right? Like, you start every season, you have big goals. It usually starts with your conference championship and winning a national championship, maybe going to the playoffs. Everybody has different goals, but getting to a bowl is always sweet, and this team's eligible now.
I know the coaches are really happy about this, the AD and the fans, because they know what it means for the program, right? You're going to get those 15 extra practices at the end of the year to help develop young talent. Looking ahead to next season, but that's next season. There's still a lot of football left to go this year. Let's just see how good of a bowl game they can get to.
That's going to do it from here. For David Pollack and Jesse Palmer, I'm Reese Davis, and you've been watching another presentation of EA Sports College Football.